What's happening, family? I just finished putting a video montage together, and I just wanted to share that experience, how I went about it, the process that I had, and I think it would be very useful. There's many ways you could go about this. I'm not going to specifically go into the necessary technical stuff, but really I'm just going to go into some of the resources that I used, like how I laid everything out so that it was kind of I had like a visual process. So those are some of the things that I'm going to share. And if you're looking for like technical advice and like actual like tips on how to use your video editor, I'll have some links for that. But this specifically is just the layout, the operation, how I went about that process. Alright, so first stop, I recommend you track your progress. You can use whatever you want. You know, some people could just, some people might just use a regular timer or whatever it may be. I use this app that was recommended to me called Clockify, and it just tracks my progress. It's good to know how long a project takes you, but like in the beginning, if this is the first time you're doing something like this, it'd be good to know. And if you're doing like a freelancing gig or whatever it may be, you want to be able to track your progress. So that's the first thing.
Track your progress. You can use Clockify for that.
So the next thing I recommend, highly recommend, is to have what I recommend is to be organized, right? Have everything sourced out, have like a production folder. So what I mean by that is like have on your desktop, as you're creating, all these files and allocating them and categorizing them, have folders for them. So what I have on my desktop is like I have a project folder, I have a folder for footage, I have a folder for the audio, exports, graphics, finals, production documents, backups, and any other folders you can think of or conceive. I recommend to be organized and to keep these folders, keep the sources until the job is complete, until the task is done, because you're going to go through a bunch of different edits and stages of the whole production. So I highly recommend keeping those files and having them nice and organized in some sort of like a folder that you have on your desktop.
Montage.
So yeah, definitely going over the testimonials is a place I recommend to start. You see where these testimonials are, look for the descriptions. I did have my hands in pulling some of these testimonials, so like I added some little highlights and things like that, so you could be able to scroll through them and find like things that you want to see. As an example, in the purple it's the names, in the red it's like the actual something that stands out from the clip. And like as I went on, I started adding green for the size of the clip. And that's really useful if you're trying to figure out, like, let's say you have a 3-minute montage that you're trying to create, and you want to be able to have like certain clips in there, and you want to find a 17-second clip. Maybe you need 17 seconds left in the montage or whatever it is. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out the content tracker, the testimonial tracker, finding clips that you want from here, and then throw it on like your own spreadsheet, like the vision board that I have, so you can visualize these things. All right, so the next thing I recommend is creating a vision board spreadsheet, right? Like this is how it worked for me, and I think it'll be extremely valuable for people that are trying to create montages and things of that nature. This will work especially if you have like a bunch of testimonials and things like that you need to like allocate and put them on a sheet so you can see what you have descriptions, and be able to work on like a narrative for the montage. So this is just an example of the vision board that I have. On the left side I have the descriptions of the links, and then eventually I was playing with each link, seeing which one works with this montage and things of that nature. And this is just a really nice way to be able to have the narrative kind of spread out for you to be able to play with different clips and things like that. I think that's a really useful technique that worked for me really well, and I'm going to continue to do this. No one has ever recommended this to me. I just figured, vision board for, a montage would make sense to help me visualize what the narration is going to be. Alright, so next stop. Next thing I recommend is putting the beat before the clips. Like, so before you start off the montage, I recommend finding a beat, like an instrumental, a background, like audio track or something like that. And for that, I recommend, something similar to, Storyblocks, or even you could go to YouTube's like library free, what do you call it?
A few minutes later, a little longer than a few minutes later.
Yeah, YouTube's royalty-free library. So I recommend something like that, or Storyblocks or something of that nature. I use Storyblocks, so that's what I'm going to be using as an example. But I recommend finding a background, audio background. That's if you're using music in the montage. So yeah, I recommend starting off with the instrumental, with the background music, and that way like, so if you figure the narrative is something like epic or something serious or whatever it is, you find something like that and you start off with the instrumental. That was useful for me because I was able to
mess with
climax and the different like paces of the instrumental. So that's something I highly recommend as like one of the first things you begin to do the production of your montage. So I recommend using Canva. This platform is really good to create like lower thirds and things like that for your video. If you have people, if you have characters or any like people that are going to be featured on the video, this is a good tool to use. And I'll have some like technical videos that I'll link to this video that help you figure out how to create these things. And it's pretty simple and it's free. The next tip that I recommend when like preparing a montage, or the things you want to consider, is feedback. Feedback is where the magic happens. So definitely look for feedback, take notes, take into consideration, and it's going to take multiple edits and updates and things of that nature. But the feedback is really like 50% of the work. The next tip, resources I recommend, is Autonomy. So Autonomy is a audio optimization software that polishes your audio files. So this is something I do. Like, I do this before so what I do is I have the video, right? I put the video, I have the background music together, and right before I'm gonna finish rendering everything, I delete the music, the background music, and I render that video without the background music on Autonomy. Make sure I have a nice clean audio, polished audio. Then I go back and I put the music, the background, on the montage. So highly recommend Autonomy. They have like a deal where you get 2 hours for free every
month or something like that.
So it's a really good resource there. It normalizes your audio and things of that nature. I also recommend using Handbrake. This is used to convert video to many different formats. It's really, so I use it specifically for reducing the file of the video, because you're going to have a bunch of files on your desktop, and then you're going to be, uploading these files on a drive or something like that, and you want to save as much space as possible. So compressing these videos with Handbrake is a really good tip. So now I'm going to move on to showing you the montage that I create. I'm going to show you the first edition and then the final edit of the montage, and it took many takes. So you're going to see two, the first edit and then the final edit, but there were many takes in between, and just to be concise in this video, I'm going to show you those two, but it was done with all of these tips and these resources, and I'm going to have some links to technical resources, the video montage mini course. I'm also going to have like videos, links on like how to do auto ducking and cuts and transitions, how to make lower thirds in Canva, how to create a great cinematic montage.
It's that the bad things done in school have been intellectually justified, and you're not going to change that set of mind. To systematically change schooling is a huge waste of time, energy, and resources.
Well, really what we're doing is unhypnotizing people and then giving you the opportunity to say, hey, look, see what they can do to you? Now what can you do with yourself with that knowledge?
Majority of the important people in the country make their living either directly from that or indirectly because you no longer have a critical mind.
The hypnotism part, I think that was already done. That's why they needed 15,000 hours. It takes a long time to indoctrinate people to the level like they're hypnotized.
People wish to learn. It used to be called emulation. You're around somebody can do something well, of course you respect, you're watching how they do it.
Because everything in my life feels more possible because we're in the midst of this autonomy. Any idea I have, whether it's just making new friends, it's like I feel like I could change because people are changing all the time and change is possible, and that's what we're here to do. And
we like the course.
Feel that I have the ability as a student and even as a graduate to influence also, where we're going, and that there's room and space and freedom to express myself. And that is really something at the core of what I'm looking for in life.
I think that the universe is a classroom, and that learning is the curriculum, and that if humanness and human beings can start to get in tune with what the universe is trying to teach, then we can get past this, slavery, master and slave dichotomy.
It's that the bad things done in school have been intellectually justified, and you're not going to change that set of mind. To systematically change schooling is a huge waste of time, energy, and resources.
What we're doing is unhypnotizing people and then giving you the opportunity to say, hey, look, see what they can do to you? Now what can you do with yourself with that knowledge?
Majority of the important people in the country make their living either directly from that or indirectly because you no longer have a critical mind.
The hypnotism part, I think that was already done. That's why they needed 15,000 hours. It takes a long time to indoctrinate people to the level like they're hypnotized.
People wish to learn. It used to be called emulation. You're around somebody can do something well, of course you respect, you're watching how they do it.
because everything in my life feels more possible because we're in the midst of this autonomy. Any idea I have, whether it's just making new friends, it's like I feel like I could change because people are changing all the time and change is possible, and that's what we're here to do. And the tentacles are far-reaching.
We like the course.
Yeah.
Feel that I have the ability as a student and even as a graduate to influence also, where we're going, and that there's room and space and freedom to express myself. And that is really something at the core of what I'm looking for in life.
I think that the universe is a classroom, and that learning is the curriculum, and that if humanness and human beings can start to get in tune with what the universe is trying to teach, then we can get past this, slavery, master and slave dichotomy.
For pushing that button, you get a camera credit. That's pretty good. Awesome.
There we go.
If you subscribe to my channel, you're gonna have a great day.